production. Summertime fine. She got a pretty mind, a Howard alumni. Here to talk about what's going on and why throughout every season. Winter, fall, summertime. You know she's rocking it. All the men jocking it. If you ain't a hater, you should be watching it. Care for the community. Practice being in unity. Self-love matters. We all act humanly. Tune in for summertime. You wouldn't want to miss a beat. Tune in for summertime. You wouldn't want to miss a beat. Summer, summer, summertime.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Summertime. I'm your host, Sommer Hill, and today I'm with my dear friend Omar, curator and store owner of Metro Club Vintage, which is where we're at today. How are you feeling today, Omar?
I'm feeling good. Thank you for asking, Summer. Appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you for being here with me. I'm so excited to talk about your journey.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So first I want to tell the folks where we are. Where are we?
We're actually in DuPont Circle. Some people will get it confused with Adams Morgan, but once you're south of U Street on 18th Street, it turns into DuPont Circle, so that's where we're at. And our address is 1821 18th Street Northwest.
So,
next to L'Oreal Plaza, if you guys know about
there
L'Oreal
you go.
Plaza.
So come down here if you all want to get some vintage clothing, and I want to get into your story about how you got started here. But let's first start on the story of Omar.
Okay.
My friend Omar.
Right.
Okay, so you're originally from DC.
Originally born and raised in D.C., Washington Hospital Center. I grew up in Northwest Washington, D.C., Uptown, Parkview neighborhood. Born and raised there, went to high school here. I left in 2013.
No, we're going to get into that.
Okay, sorry.
Slow down.
My bad.
Let's get into that.
All right.
So Uptown DC. What's the thing about Uptown? Like, what do people know? Like, what is it known for?
Uptown is known for being fly. You know what I mean? It's like in comparison Brooklyn to Queens. You know, Queens were like the grimy, hustlers, and Brooklyn. Not taking no shots at Queens or Brooklyn, but my friends in Queens, my friends in Brooklyn, it was a difference. So Uptown is like Brooklyn. It's like we dress fly, we hustle. You know what I mean? We stay on our pivot. The girls are always fly. That was Uptown for us.
So what are some trends that have come out of Uptown? Did the New Balance come from Uptown?
I wouldn't give Uptown that credit. I would just give DC as a whole the New Balance credit. Trends out of Uptown, we had Madness. That was like our...
What's that?
Madness was a clothing line that came out of Uptown at events. It was a big deal in DC back in the early 90s. You know what I mean? You had to have your Madness hat. They made the hats where you can get your name put on your hat. There were buckets, you know what I'm saying? So it was a big thing back then, and that was like the influence in a lot of future entrepreneurs into clothes that came from DC Uptown. Madness was like that spot you had to get a piece from here and there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but this has just popped in my brain as you were talking, but like, you know how we have influencers now, you can get people to wear your stuff, post it on social media. How did word get around before like social media days?
Before social media days, we were all outside. You know what I mean? There was no sitting in the house on your phone. There was, not too much gaming in the house. If you wanted to, for extracurricular activity, you went outside. You know what I mean? And to meet who you wanted to see, that girl you had a crush on, your homie from down the street, there was no FaceTime. It was like you had to step out. So when you stepped out, you made sure you had that on. You know what I mean? You put your pieces on so they would know, like, all right. And that was the influence, you know what I mean? And go-go was a big thing here. So if you had someone from a go-go band put on something from Madness and they're performing at the Black Hole or at Metro Club, which I kind of branded my brand after. It was a spot called Metro Club.
Oh, that was a thing.
It was a thing.
What was it? It was a club?
It was a club, and it was on Bladensburg Road. And it was right across the street from the bus barn, actually where the Metro buses park their cars, their buses.
Way.
And it was dubbed the Metro Club. So Backyard played there. A lot of the bands played there.
So that's where you got the inspiration behind the name.
Behind the name, yes, that's what. And nostalgia, and also I use Metro Club because Metro was the only way we can connect with each other.
Oh, you all had to take the Metro.
We had to take the Metro.
No
if I wanted to
way.
see my friends in Southeast, I had to jump on a train. I had to jump on the bus. And, we don't really pay a lot of respect to the bus drivers and the Metro train operators who get us from point A to point B. We just, we're on our way, we're moving and shaking. So this was my way of paying homage to the Metro.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
You should give them all like a shirt to wear or something.
I mean, I did
Or
my
partner.
cardigans after them, the work shirts that we have, that's the things that I saw the Metro bus drivers wear.
Oh.
So it's kind of like I took that and, revamped it. And,
That is so nice of you.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, they don't know that, but.
Well, now they will
Right.
once they see
Okay.
this.
Good to know.
Okay, so, but Omar, you've always been into fashion. Like, where did your initial inspiration come from?
I mean, being from Uptown, that's
Okay.
where it came from. If you came outside looking crazy, you got joned on.
Really?
Right. And Joan, I'm sure you guys know what Joan.
We know what that means.
I thought it was still an old word. But
No, we know what that
yeah,
means.
you got cracked on if you weren't up to par. So in order for me to get right, I had to do a paper route. So I worked for the Post, Washington Post, when I was 12.
What? I
had a
didn't know
paper
that.
route. Yeah, I had 3 blocks in my neighborhood that I had to service, and they would drop the papers off 5 in the morning. My mom would come out and help me fold it, give you a box of rubber bands, and you put the papers together, put it in a shopping cart that I stole from Safeway that I had to lock it up so no one else would steal it, almost like a bike, but it was a shopping cart. And yeah, I had a 3-block radius of just doing newspapers during school, though. So it was during the school season.
Oh, so you would
5
leave
in the
school?
morning.
It was before school.
Before school. So.
Okay, so what did that teach you?
It gave me kind of like the budget to like put on and to dress a certain way to like kind of match the fly that was going on in my neighborhood.
At 12 years old?
At 12, at 13, I had this paper route for like 3 years. Wow. I inherited it from my brother.
Okay.
He grew out of it, and I was getting paid $63.50 a month. I remember that number.
$63 a month?
And 50 cents.
And you could go shopping with that?
You can buy a bag with that. You know what I mean? To be honest with you.
No
We go to
way.
Foot Locker Outlet, which used to be on University Boulevard, and I would rack up in there, and I would give my mom's my check and let it accumulate over time, and then come school year, when it's time to go back to school.
You get fresh.
Get fresh. I had the
What?
pull away gym pants and, my Diodors, the Reebok classics, the things that, we don't wear no more, but still hold value to me, and it's sentimental to me as far as like certain brands that I used to wear and that I worked for.
So what are some of the trends that you see coming back around? Because all of it is recycled. Like, it all comes back.
It's all recycled for sure. I would say now the baggy pants, you know what I mean? People are not really caring about silhouette too much when it comes to fashion. Like
That's true.
the more bummier you look, it's like the better now.
Like,
you know
even
what I
like
mean?
women in jorts,
For
like,
sure.
I don't care that it's not form fitting.
And see, jorts has always been a thing. I don't remember jorts going out of fashion, but
Really?
when I wore mine a couple years ago, people were like, "You got on jean shorts," almost like they were cracking on me. I'm like, I didn't think they went away, you know what I
They
mean?
didn't call
But
them jorts, did they?
they just call them jean shorts. But still, it was still like, am I out of fashion? It had me questioning, but I knew I felt good when I wore it. So
That's all that matters.
Yeah, that's how I go about it. What makes me feel good is what I wear.
So, like, speaking of recycled trends, you have a vintage store, which is recycled clothes, right?
For sure.
So tell me about the story behind this.
Well, this started when I moved back from California. I noticed out there, when I was in California, I wanted to start a clothing line. So I started a clothing line, and I kind of named it after one of Wale's quotes called Uptown Roamers. One of his songs, actually, but he said Uptown Roamers, Southside Riders. So I created shirts that said Uptown Roamers and the hats that had the U with the Uptown on it. They were camouflage. And then the same with the shirts for Southside. So it was like, kind of bringing Southside and Southeast and Northwest together through Wale and his music, because it was popular, at the time. So that's how I started. Moving back here, I wanted to like revamp, or just get back into fashion, like creating fashion, but in a way where it was paying more homage to DC and just like showcasing like where we came from, where we're at.
Yeah, I keep talking to everybody about fashion in DC, and I'm noticing it's not like a fashion hub, but I think that it deserves to be. So what do you think that DC doesn't have that other cities do have that can set them apart?
I mean, now it's not a fashion hub because, gentrification and people wearing athleisure wear and feeling like that's, I guess, they're comfortable in that and making a fashion statement with athleisure wear. But DC has always been on fashion. You know what I mean? If you ever had a chance to look back at some old go-go pictures, you would see, we had the Ralph Lauren rugby shirts, you know what I mean, the polo boots, you know what I mean? We put it on, you know what I'm saying? It's just now it got a little bland, no offense to like, the implants that moved in. But
Oh, it's the implants that messed it up. That makes sense.
I wouldn't say they messed it up because if you were to catch a unicorn, I would call them, which is a DC native like myself, you're going to see fashion. You're not going to see a lazy day.
So what rank your top 3 cities as far as fashion in the States?
In the States, as far as fashion, to me would be, I would start with New York, to be honest. If you go to Atlanta, you do see a lot of fashion, depending on the time of day you're in Atlanta. But I would definitely give, I would give DC its ranking. But now gentrification, I would say Maryland.
Maryland over DC?
Because a lot of us moved to Maryland. So, but
Yeah,
a lot of us who
man.
still put that shit on know how to wear clothes.
So you would go New York, Atlanta, DC.
I mean, I'm not sure if it's that order, but if you want it in order, I would go true DC, not the new DC, then New York, and then let's go to Atlanta.
DC first.
Yeah.
I would put Detroit over Atlanta.
I mean, I don't have a big experience with Detroit and people really putting on fashion in Detroit, but I do like a lot of Detroit friends that I have, and they do know how to dress, so I can see where you're going.
Yeah, peep it next time. Okay, but anyway, back to your story. So you're in LA, you're making this line.
And once I moved back, I wanted to upcycle, so I was searching for a vintage outlet, somewhere where I can source pieces, because I wanted to take like old vintage clothes and like embroider and put like 3D embroidery on it and, resell it that way. So I started doing that, and I had a seamstress I was working with, and he we toyed with some ideas. I wasn't really sold on what he was doing, but after a while, I realized I had all this vintage clothes accumulated in my closet in trash bags that, I felt was worth selling. So I reached out. Actually, a friend, he's an entrepreneur. He reached out to me. He was opening a dispensary on 14th Street, and he asked me to like help him build awareness for it because, my different businesses and stuff. So he felt like I can be of asset to him and help him like with his business. And my questions for him was like, you mind if I do a vintage pop-up? And he agreed to it. And we did that for 3 hours and made a substantial amount of money in a 3-hour period of just doing a random pop-up, no promotion. I just put a chalkboard outside, vintage pop-up upstairs, and people came through and they shopped, and it just opened my eyes to like, what I could be doing and what is hitting right now, what people are paying attention to.
There's potential here.
For sure.
Okay, so then that was the moment you were like, let me open up a store.
Not at that moment. I wanted to do it again at his pop-up, to be honest. And I was in Philly buying vintage clothes, and before I started spending so much money, because I was already accumulating all these clothes, and it was like the budget was getting crazy. So I'm like, yo, before I spend all this money, let me call him again and ask him, can I do a repeat? And when I called him, he was like, no, we don't want to do that again.
Why?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe he saw too much success in what I was doing, and people weren't interested in the marijuana. They were solely interested in the vintage pieces and getting that and leaving, which is understandable. People see certain things you're doing. They don't,
So do you think DC is a hating city? Because you're not the first person to say this either.
I would say that America is a hating place
Country.
to be in. You know what I mean? Not just DC, but we deal with who we deal with in the cities that we're at. But there's not a lot of love here for people.
Do you think it's like crabs in a barrel?
I would say that no one could pull you down unless you allow them to pull you down. So I wouldn't say crabs in a barrel. Like, I'm not going to let no one pull me down into the shit. You know what I mean? Like,
But are they trying to?
Nah, I can't. I don't feel it if they are. You know what I mean? If they are, it's not reaching my level of awareness.
That's
You know what I mean?
good.
So, but if you allow that, if you were to sit and talk to people about your ideas, you will probably feel that. I just don't go about it that way. I don't.
That's good. You
sit
can't
with
share that with
everyone.
everybody
Right.
because everybody can't see the vision.
And they're going to deter you with their vision and like, you know, the pros, they're going to give you the cons more than the pros.
Right. Well, did you think about this? Like
They always do that. And I've always been self-aware of what needs to be done for me. And, you know, I just bring people along that I feel like is ready to come.
Okay, good.
Like,
so then once he was like, no, we're not going to do the pop-up shop again, how did you pivot?
I was still in Philly in the warehouse, and I picked up the other phone and was like, I spoke to a realtor, like, find me some locations. That was it.
And that was the moment.
Because I had the budget, and telling me no is like motivation to me. It's just like hate, you know what I mean? It motivates me, it pushes me to like, all right, I'm gonna show you, you know what I mean? And not in a way where I wanna like up somebody or make someone feel like, oh, I told you I was gonna do it.
Right.
I'm not that type of person, but I'm gonna show you through actions, you know what I mean? Like you could have came, I was where you were, you know what I mean? Or I was at a point where I didn't have nothing but an idea. No one gravitated towards my idea, so I had to keep it moving.
Do it on my own.
And then, you know, it comes to the point where those same people wind up walking in here and purchasing some pieces because, you know, you can't resist what I'm doing.
Right. It always ends up like that.
It ends up like that. And
To
it don't
recycle.
make me feel no better because I'm self-motivated, but it's somewhat gratifying a little bit to be like, all right, you know, welcome to my shop. You know what I mean? That type of thing.
So what has, because you opened this in 2022, right? Or
I opened in
2023?
2023, actually,
Okay.
last year.
So what has the overall response been since you've opened up your shop?
The reason I work my shop is to like learn the demographic and the customers that come in and I eavesdrop a lot on their conversations, you know what I mean?
What have you learned? What are you seeing about today's
That
trends?
I'm a really good curator, you know what I mean? That's one of the titles that I didn't put on myself until like people came and like thanked me and, you know, it was like, this is very
What are you
curated.
curating? Like, you mean like the
The
vibe in
space,
here?
the
Like the
vibe,
look? Like,
all of the above, to be
Okay.
honest with you. I mean, granted, we're in here on the day that we're closed, but you come in on the day that we're open, you're going to feel the energy.
it's
And
just a good flow in here.
especially if I'm here, you know what I'm saying? I've been told that it's not what you're selling, but who's selling it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
true.
So when people come in and they meet me, they realize like, oh, you're good. You're good. You know, you're good people. It's like I feel good energy from you, and I get that a lot. And then I get the curate comment a lot. And it's
So-
the vibe, the energy.
But you're here on 18th Street. Like, what has the like neighborhood and the people that come from around here, what has their response been?
I mean, they're wearing our product. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, they really love the pieces that I put my hands on, more so than
the
the vintage.
custom
They love the
pieces?
vintage. You know what I mean? Don't get it twisted, but the custom pieces that I may dye and I paint splatter on some pieces, you know, I cut, I crop, you know what I'm saying? I'm just doing things to like, you know, really is for my therapy in a sense, but it also helps to see that people are liking like what I'm creating.
It's a release.
So yeah, I would say the people that are walking in, they're like appreciative that we're here for one, because this is like a food corridor only, and we're like that one spot that's not selling something you can eat or smoke. You know what I mean? We're just like giving
Just clothes.
clothes, curated, well curated, good music. You know, the AC works on a hot day.
Need that.
Right.
Need that this summer. So what have you learned about the fashion trends?
In DC,
Yeah. Like as you see people come in here, what are they looking for?
they like a lot of the pieces, but I'm noticing that they're gravitating towards the more vintagey look now. Like so when they come in, and you know they all have on like athletic wear, but they gravitate towards the baggy denim jeans that we have, like the 90s Levi pants that we have that are like they're not silhouette fitted, they're not skinny jeans, they're just like a pair of pants. You know what I'm saying? They like. I'm realizing people now when they wear pants, they like to show their socks. They want the pants
Oh, really?
to not be so low.
So that's back? I didn't know that was back.
It's back. The high waters is back.
Okay.
penny loafers and that type of thing with jeans is back. T-shirts.
Do you see a difference between like your black customers and your non-black customers? Like, is it all the same fashion trends?
No, it's not all the same fashion trends, but I am noticing that my not black customers are appreciating the blackness that we're pushing out.
Okay,
you know
good.
what I mean? Like, you're giving us a sense of style, and if you come in and really take your time and pay attention to like the custom pieces, you'll see like there's pieces that you can put together. You know what I'm saying, that I created in different times. Say, for instance, this purple shirt with those purple shorts, done 2 different separate times, but if you come in and you put it all together, you will have an outfit that you can wear to a Broccoli City Fest.
True.
And be different. You know what I'm saying? The thing is, people are scared to be different when it comes
Right.
to fashion. They want to feel cloned, like, or this is accepted, so I'm going to wear what's accepted in DC or wherever you at. But at the end of the day, I think, daring to be different definitely sets you apart.
That's what I like about what you said earlier. You like, I just wear what feels good.
For sure.
That's what people should do, because
Right.
then you'll create your own trends.
You
Speaking
definitely
of,
will.
I just got all of this today here in the store. My jewelry, my shirt.
Nice.
Tell the folks about it.
Well, we
Do-
do a
do
lot of
my drip check,
customization.
fit
No,
check.
it definitely drip check, fit check for sure. And you look good in the shirt. The shirt
Thanks.
kind of like fits you to a T.
Yeah, I like this.
It was a T-shirt
Howard.
at first, and we wanted to like show respect to Howard. We did a Georgetown one as well, and like you said, the one behind you, I also went to work on the sweatshirt, and it was too hot for sweatshirts, and I still wanted to push these sweatshirts out. And to be honest with you, they weren't really selling when they were just like sweatshirts. It wasn't until I threw some paint on it and cut the sleeves off. And
So you did
cropped
this
it.
yourself?
Yeah, that's.
Wow, Omar. You just take it in the back and work on it?
Take it, or I'm sitting right here while those shears that you use are like, that's my tool. I try to keep them close. And I just go to work while I'm working the shop. And I'll take it outside, throw paint, and, I have shoes that have paint on them and good pieces that I purchased that I didn't want paint on. Now have paint on
You got to wear an apron.
Yeah, I think I'm going to just, like, get my nice pieces and then make it art. And then maybe sell it in here because it's, like, really
That would be
nice
cool.
pieces. And be like, oh, I worked in this shirt, and you can buy it now.
So how have you got a lot? I know your daughter did like the post on TikTok and that went viral, but how have you got a lot of traction in here?
I mean, we put ourselves in a good position, in a good place, to be honest with you. Like, I would say every day someone is coming in here spending money since we've been
Oh,
open.
that's so good.
Like, we've been self-sustained since the first day we opened up. We haven't had to come out of pocket for anything
Oh, that's
else.
amazing.
Everything is paid through customers in the store. So I
Good.
appreciate that much.
Yeah.
But it's all about your demographic and putting yourself in place. You know what I mean? I couldn't imagine us being in Maryland and still finding some sort of success, or, where there's not like this inner city foot traffic.
Yeah, no, this is a good location. So
For
what does
sure.
the future, or like what does success look like in this store? What do you want to do with it?
This is just the first store. I'm looking to open a couple of more stores and add more elements. I want to do vintage furniture as well. I want to have a place where you're not just shopping. It's an experience. You know what I mean? You come in, you can have your coffee and sit on a vintage couch while, your significant other, or, even if you're not shopping or you're alone, you can still sit on a vintage couch, have coffee. I want to bring in most of the stuff that we outsource, like screen printing. I want to have that on site. So say if you wanted to purchase a denim jacket and you wanted our logo on the back, we can just get it done right on site instead of, having it sent out. Just like creating an experience is my thing. I like going into places, and living in Los Angeles for 4 years, most of the shops out there was an experience, especially if you're shopping. It's like,
That's important. I got to feel
sure.
moved by the experience, and then that'll bring me back here to
For
get me to
sure.
buy another thing. I'm excited to see what you curate. I know it's going to be really dope.
yes, thank
What
you.
is like the future trends you see of DC? What do you
The
think we have to
future
look
trends-
at as far as fashion?
I would say the jerseys, things like that are coming back now. Band tees really haven't gone anywhere, but
What is
a lot of
it?
people don't have band tees in their
What is
closet.
that?
Like band tees, say
Oh, just like a
Bob Marley.
t-shirt.
Yeah, band tees.
Of a band. Okay.
You know, like Death Row.
Okay, show the camera.
Okay. Y'all can come get these. You know what I'm saying? They're in store right now, for sure.
Omar, I love what you've done with this. This is so cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, tell people where they can find you on Instagram.
Metro Club Vintage _ on Instagram. I am Oh Boy Ali on Instagram. I'm boring. You probably don't want to follow me, but follow Metro Club Vintage _ You know, I usually story the new pieces we have coming in, whatever it is, and that's how we get down. And we also work with a lot of artists in the neighborhood that they'll come in and I'll give them a piece or garment and they'll paint on it or do their little work to it, and it's like upcycling at its finest. So
that's so cool.
Yes.
No, I love this. This is really dope.
Thank you.
Congratulations on all
Appreciate
your
you.
success and
Yes.
many, many, many more to you.
Thank you. Appreciate you so much.
Thanks for letting me be here today to chat with you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Yes.
Summertime.